What's going on, guys? It's Jake Camara here with the long-awaited second episode of Flashback Friday. I know that I've not actually delivered you guys a Flashback Friday episode, so it's the original with Driver San Francisco back in March. That's because I've had a lot of schoolwork and exams because I'm in high school, so this is the time where we're kind of taking all of our final exams because summer is fastly approaching. So I'm hoping to have my initial thoughts of Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Future Soldier, which I did get. I did not put up an unboxing of that because I didn't have that much time because I had a test the next day, and I wanted to start playing it pretty fast. And I know that my unboxings are pretty popular. They're one of my most popular parts of my channel. So hopefully it was just a box. So I'm probably thinking about making my unboxings only like collector's edition and such. So let's get to the Flashback Friday episode. So what I'm going to be covering today is Battlefield 1943. This game was released for Xbox Live Arcade and PlayStation Network on July 8th for the Xbox and July 9th for the PlayStation 3 in 2009. This was the summer before Battlefield Bad Company 2, and this game actually debuted Frostbite 1.5, which was the engine that powered Bad Company 2. This is a digital release, so basically it's very small and cheap. So you basically have got your three maps, one of which is Wake Island, which in my opinion is the best, and then you've also got one air dominance, air superiority, map that basically only has airplanes, which airplanes are in this game. We've got the Japanese versus the Americans. We've got both respective airplanes. And then so you've got three classes to choose from. You got the sniper, the infantryman, and then your engineer. Scout has, rifleman, scout, and engineer. So rifleman is what I'm playing right now. You've got it's like a semi-automatic close range weapon, or that can actually be medium to long range. It's kind of in the middle between a automatic rifle and a sniper rifle. You can definitely get some long-range kills, but then if somebody comes up to you, you can kill them close range too, which is why I like to use that one the best. And then infantry, which it's not engineer, it's infantry, has the normal rocket launcher, and then a assault rifle that you can. That's actually, I don't think that's very good because it's very, very close range. You can't actually really aim down sights, so it makes it really hard to kill somebody who's pretty far away. So I don't usually play that class that much. You can repair vehicles, but I like Rifleman better. And then finally, you've got Scout, which is your sniper rifle, and M1911, and it also has C4. So there's a couple of differences between this game and a lot of the games in Battlefield's past. One, there's only Conquest, so there's no Rush, Squad Deathmatch, Team Deathmatch, only Conquest. So you're going to be playing on the kind of Battlefield's vanilla mode, where two teams are against each other, and you try to capture flags, which are bases, to keep the enemy from spawning, and then you've got at the very top of the screen, you see a red bar and a blue bar, and whoever's bar gets lowest, that's their spawn tickets. If they lose and the other team wins. In this game, there's quite a few vehicles. There's the tank, and each of these have their own different side versions. There's a Japanese version and an American version, except for the boat. So there's a tank, a car the tank can hold two people, one driving, which is what I'm doing right here, and then one on the turret. The car, which can hold three people, one person driving, one sitting in the passenger seat who can use their weapon that they're carrying, and then you've got one guy in the back with a automatic turret. And then you've got boats, which are basically the transports for every map except for Iwo Jima. It's where you spawn. It's where you spawn on the carriers on the other ones. So that's kind of the way you get to each base. Which is kind of cool. It definitely shows it's kind of realistic, you're coming in on boats. It can carry one driver, two people on the back in turrets, and then three people sitting in the forward cargo bay. And then finally, you've got, in my opinion, probably the best part of this game is the airplanes. Now, for most people who don't know, the Bad Company series did not have airplanes. They did have helicopters, but this is really the first time on consoles, this is before Battlefield 3 obviously, that we saw any fighter planes and such. They can carry one driver, obviously, and they can take off. There's two on each carrier, so there's two on the Japanese, two on the United States, and then there's one on each of the islands. There's one plane at an airstrip in it's the dominant base, which this one is the airfield. It's usually in the middle of the map. or you can have one extra plane, which can kind of serve as like a reinforcements, so one team can dominate the other with 3 versus 2. So this game I recorded with Ranger 99 and Complicit Comet. We're doing pretty good, but there's a couple problems with the squad system. It's very hard to join squads. So before this game started, we actually all went into like a game and we invited each other, and then we started, because there's no actual way to pick the squads that you want to get inside. Like in Battlefield 3, you can go to the squad list, and then it shows you, okay, which squad you want to join, and then you can quit one and start a new one. You can't really do that in this game. And then you can't communicate with people outside of your squad. Now, we're on an Xbox Live party, so that's not really a big deal for us, but if somebody who likes to play alone, but then like talk strategy with other people, that's kind of a disappointment and a letdown for them, because it does kind of take away like the teamwork that really Battlefield is known for. The rounds usually go pretty long. They usually take probably about 15 to 20 minutes, which definitely is a little bit longer than most first-person shooters. There's a couple achievements in this game that are pretty hard. I've got all the achievements in this game except for one, which is Tour of Duty 2, which you have to complete 100 games. And I checked online, and I was at 72, and I've played this game quite a bit. So I'm hoping to put up some more gameplay, because I'm going to be playing this game, because I definitely want to get 200 out of 200, which is the amount of achievements, because this is an Xbox Live Arcade game. This game still is sold quite a bit. I think it's one of the better titles on Xbox Live Arcade. Now, of course, there's some good like Limbo, Trials Evolution, now Minecraft. But this one really was one of the first real, like, you could actually use it as a console game. It wasn't just like an arcade like Pac-Man or anything. And sure, you had like Portal still alive, but that one was, of course, part of the orange box, and which we're not going to get into at all. But, so, this one I think was very accessible, because you did not have to go to the store and buy, like, a copy of the game. Now, of course, you could buy, like, games on Demand, but then, well, you have to wait, and this game debuted on Xbox Live Arcade, is what I'm trying to say. So, it's very, it's cheap. It's 1,200 Microsoft points, so it's definitely, less expensive than a $60 game, but of course there's less content. There's really no unlockables, which is a little disappointing. Sure, you've got your ranks, but really, from what I can tell, ranks don't really mean anything. It's like, sure, you get points by killing people, capturing flags, stuff like that, anything you really get in any other game, but I don't really see a point to it besides somebody who just wants to be a good rank, because you don't really unlock anything. There's even no real way to check your rank without going to the team's page and seeing, like, in tiny little emblems, and you don't even know what, like, number. Like in Battlefield 3, it shows you, like, the number rank you are. You don't even know. So you've got the rank system, which I am going to mention, because for some people it may be important to them, like, ranking up. For me, I don't really care, because I don't really play this game anymore, but ranks are kind of cool. So basically, each rank, which there's quite a few ranks in this game. I don't know the complete list, but you've got kind of your bronze, silver, and gold version. So you get like the bronze first, then silver, then gold. But again, you don't really unlock anything, so there's not really a huge point to leveling up. And there's not really, and that kind of brings me to the only problem that I really have with this game is there's no real progression. There's no real reason to come back to the game rather than just playing it. Like in Battlefield 3, Bad Company 2, or any other first-person shooter on the market for that matter, you've got, like, different ranks where you can unlock different weapons and attachments and perks and specializations in Battlefield 3. There's none of that in this game. 3 classes, they all have the same weapons, you can't change the weapons. Sure, you have, like, different versions of those weapons for each team, but they're really the same guns, they perform the same way, they have the same drum capacity, and they're not really that different. So, this game, this is not for everyone. Battlefield 1943 is really for somebody who really just wants to get into the action and play a smaller type Battlefield, but you're going to have to understand there's not that much to it. There's the 3 maps plus the air superiority map that basically you've got 2 teams, 3 classes. You can't customize those classes in any way, so basically what you see is what you get. And then there's no campaign, so it's all multiplayer. So this game is definitely, I've played this game quite a bit, and it's really a game that you play for a couple hours, and then you don't come back to for a couple of days, because it does get repetitive quite a bit. It's basically the same thing. You've got your airplanes flying around that sometimes drop bombs on you. You're trying to capture all the command points, and then there's only 3 maps, and what makes it worse is I don't really understand it at all. But after each map, you play the same map again, but as the different team, which I don't really like. I think that I don't really care about playing as the Japanese or the Americans on a map that I just played on. So I wish that they really like switched the maps up more, and they really like alternated. Like you had Wake Island, but then you didn't come back to that map for another like 3 games. There was no DLC released for this title whatsoever, so that's definitely kind of a letdown. I think that DICE probably could have done a little bit more with this. I'm sure that Microsoft is not really they regulate their titles quite a bit, and I know that it would have been a little bit more difficult to release DLC, but I think that they could have at least maybe introduced one more like conquest type infantry map. Now Coral Sea, which is the air superiority map, was not released when the game originally came out. It was released after the community had racked up enough stats, and then they were able to introduce it. I think it came pretty fast, but there's no DLC. I wish they would have added like one more map. Maybe 400 Microsoft points. There was no the 200 points that the achievements are there. You can get them quite fast. I got most of them within the first few days of playing. Again, the only one that I really have right now is Tour of Duty 2, and it's really hard to earn that one because really once you've played maybe 30 or 40 games, odds are, unless you've just been sitting in some bunker hiding from planes, you've really seen the entire game. It is cool. You've got a few nods to World War II. After each game is over on the score screen, you've got like an announcer talking about like whatever respective side won the battle. Then he plays a track of like a radio person talking about how like, oh, the Japanese won this fight and now they can advance towards Midway. Or it's cool. It definitely shows you a little bit more of World War II. And this is the only Battlefield, like, World War II-ish game available on the Xbox 360. It's actually the one of only 2, like, older, like, Battlefield games. The only ones that you had before were, well, the only one in addition to this is Battlefield Bad Company 2, the Vietnam expansion pack. But you have to own Battlefield Bad Company 2 to be able to play that one. So, the mechanics, like, it's very different from Battlefield 3. I definitely sometimes I get a little sometimes it's weird, like some of the controls are like the bumper actually switches your gun, which I really don't understand that at all, and then Y is actually like your melee or like knife type thing, which I really don't like. It's weird to play like a first person shooter like Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 or Battlefield 3 and then come back to this and have to like relearn the controls. So I think that DICE could have done a little bit better by kind of you know, like incorporating the controls of other Battlefield games. And then finally, the graphics I think are pretty good. They're definitely not the best, but they're good. For an Xbox Live Arcade game, I think this game is pretty good. And I suggest that if you are a fan of the Battlefield series and you've played a lot of the older ones and you haven't heard of this game or played it, I definitely suggest that you go out. You can get a trial for it and play on Wake Island. I think you have 20 minutes of multiplayer on the free trial, and then you can go and buy the full game for 1,200 Microsoft points. So that's the end of the video. If you enjoyed it, thumbs up, like it. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.